I'd like to welcome everyone tonight to our virtual community meeting. Thank you all for coming. We're excited to show neighbors, family members, our exciting plans for Houston Middle School and talk about some of the concerns that individuals may have and just what we have thought about and really taken into consideration when planning this building. So a couple things about the meeting, just so you can understand how it's going to work. If you see, we have an image of the chat bar. You should have the same image across the bottom of your screen where it says participants, security, chat. What you're going to do during the meeting at any time, if you have a question, if there's something you don't think that we've answered, please feel free to click on that chat button. If you will then select Josh Cathy, he is our deputy superintendent. He will be monitoring the questions. He'll be compiling them for us. At the end of the meeting, we will then answer all those questions. Even if you haven't put it in during the meeting, you can put in questions after the meeting and we'll be answering those for you. We are going to post a video recording of this meeting so that you can go back and watch it again. And we're going to create an FAQ based on the questions that we received tonight. We will also set up a way that you can email Mr. Cathy. So we're going to show his email at the end. So if you have further questions, please email those to him and we'll provide answers and hopefully dispel any myths or misconceptions about what we're doing with this property. So with that, I'm going to start proceeding through the presentation. So what are we going to focus on tonight? Some key components. We're going to look at the current and future capacity needs of our district at the middle school level and also at Houston Middle School. We're going to talk about the current and future programmatic needs of the school. We're going to talk about traffic patterns, parking lots that are there currently and are also planned. We're going to look inside the project so you can see some of the renderings of the rooms, and we'll really look at what our staff members, what the architects have really designed to really improve and serve our students. And then, like I said, at the end, we're going to finish with question and answer session, but please be putting in your questions as we go so we can move through. So what are we looking at? So we are talking about approximately a 42,000 square foot building. It is right now 42,544 square feet, but as we go through this process, of course, that can change, but it's going to be really close to that amount. You can see where we have positioned and designed it on the campus. We are really looking at the traffic flow, the patterns, where we could fit this addition onto the campus. It is in the southwest corner. You can see the existing building, and we have dropped the new building or expansion on top of it. You can see it does face Johnson Road there. Here's the current view that you will see. This is where the new addition is going to sit. We think it's going to be a dramatic improvement from what residents are currently seeing. Even if you go further, a little bit further, you'll see the dumpsters in the back of the building. You'll see the loading bays. You'll see the storage sheds there and really an open field there where it really is a drainage place for water. And know that with our new addition, we are dramatically going to improve that view for the residents and also the community. So here is a rendering of what it could look like at night. What I'd also encourage our neighbors and our stakeholders to look at, go see Riverdale Elementary School, go visit Forest Hill. We are putting in incredible facilities that are changing the neighborhoods for the good. And it's not just the building itself, it's the landscaping too. We are adding in irrigation, we are adding in plantings, so that it is going to be something that we think is going to dramatically improve our neighborhood and our community. But you can see here's a sample rendering from the same view that we just saw with that drone footage. So let's talk about the need and talk about how we've been planning for this. We really have been planning on this from the start of the district. When we didn't get the 3G schools, we knew that we were going to have a middle school issue and an elementary school issue. But we did hire a national demographer in 2017 to come into our district and look at what are our projections for students at our grade bands and our grade levels. And he takes into account birth rates, and he looks at the residents in the city of Germantown and the people who are currently living here. And you can see when he finished his study in 2016, 2017, that's why those are green. Those were real numbers at the time. His projections were in blue. And you can see, like I said, those are based on birth rates of those students at the time. We are going to hire a new demographer once we get access to the new census data so that we can have more up-to-date projections, but he has been very accurate so far. Especially taking into consideration that we've added a new elementary school, that we have dealt with COVID, he has come very close in his projections. So let's look at some of his projections, especially around Houston Middle School. You can see his numbers, his predictions, and he really calls them forecast because he's trying to take into account growth based on specific principles. But you can see he projected in 17-18 or forecasted 969 students. We actually had 954. In 18-19 school year, he forecasted 966 students. We had 947. In 19-20, he was really close. He thought that we were going to be at 976. We were at 979. And then for this current year, he thought we were going to be at 942. We are at 933. And that's a reasonable explanation due to our COVID pandemic at this time. But you can see looking into the future, what was he projecting? And that's why we feel confident with his projections. We're looking at a range from 927 up to 995 at one point. His last projection in 2026-27 was at 976. We're seeing a range of 927 to about 995. So know that we're going to stay around those numbers for the students, but all of those are problems for us at Houston Middle School because the maximum capacity there is 930 students. And I will put a caveat by 930, that is not programmatically where we need to be. That's not best serving our students when we look at that number. That's fitting all the bodies into the building that we can at a time. So we are using all classroom spaces. So let's look at one of the problems that we are predicting. When he did his study, he did not include build out because at the time there was not significant numbers of apartments going up or houses being built. He wasn't taking that into consideration. Since his study, the city of Germantown has approved 634 housing units, all of which are zoned for Houston Middle School. That number of 634 does not count the Germantown Country Club property, and we have heard that it could have over 300 housing units on that property, and all those would be zoned for Houston Middle School. If you see this picture here of the red and the blue, those are the Houston Middle School zones and Riverdale zones. And if you think, oh, well, we could rezone and move those students to Riverdale. Riverdale is over capacity too at the middle school level. We could not rezone or fit any additional students at Riverdale. But specifically looking at the properties that were approved, Goodwin Farms, 232 students, that's the green, Oldfield Green at 34, Viridian, 299, the Duke property, 69. I think since that time, it's gone up to 72 since we pulled this data, but these are approximations. And then the Country Club, I know they're looking at some age restricted properties in there, but we're saying if there were around 300, all of these properties are going to produce additional students for Houston Middle School. So the fact that we're already beyond capacity now, and we can't fit our students and can't serve our students in the school, and we're seeing this additional growth, it is a real concern for the school district and why we've really been working with our aldermen and with our city administration to plan for this time, and we need to add this addition to Houston Middle School. So we're excited that we're on the precipice of really serving our students with a facility that will meet their needs. So how are we currently doing it? If we're out of space, what are we really looking at? So know that we are using specialty spaces as regular classrooms. So for example, there's a functional skills room that we are using as an art room. We are teaching out of the science labs, which should be used for our science instruction, for our STEM instruction, but we're using them for regular instruction. For our larger sections, really in the gym, we have large classes in there and we have teachers assigned to multiple teachers, but we're adding in multiple groups there. So we're compliant, but we have large numbers of students there. And then shared spaces. We're teaching orchestra out of a regular classroom that shares with a German classroom. We use our cafeteria and library for after school activities and groups to practice. So all of these are ways that we're handling the overflow, and it's not the best that we need to provide for our students. So let's talk about some of those areas. Since the district has been formed, we have added, and the state has added, a STEM initiative at the high school level and at the middle school. And so since I've been superintendent, since we've had Germantown schools, we've added STEM 1, STEM 2, STEM 3. There's a STEM 4 and dual enrollment course where you get college credit. And that stands for science, technology, engineering, and math. And it's an application class where they are building bridges, they are doing robotics, they are doing coding. And these classes require labs. It's also in our middle school level too. So we have a large number of students who are taking that middle school STEM, and that is an initiative for this Tennessee Department of Education for us to have middle school STEM. So let's look at some of the numbers in the middle school. So know that when we look at Houston Middle School, over 50% of our students are currently taking STEM courses. There are over 18 sections. And so we need a place for these students to actually take those courses, to perform the labs, to do the robotics. This image is actually from the high school STEM classroom. But where are they doing it? They're doing it in the hallway, or they're performing the labs outside, which is not safe, it's not secure, and it's really not the environment that we want to provide for our students. So even if we didn't have the STEM courses, which we need to have because it's a state initiative, all students in 6th, 7th, and 8th grade have to take science. And all of the standards and all those courses require lab work. Well, because we're teaching out of those labs, students are missing opportunities to go into the science lab. An example, and there's over 19 state standards in all of those courses across the grade bands, is in 6th grade. When you look at 6 PS 3.4, they're supposed to study heat, thermal energy, and they're supposed to look at conduction, convection. They're supposed to do a lab where they're heating objects, watching them cool. How can they do that in a regular classroom when they don't have access to a traditional science lab? So even our traditional science classes are suffering because we don't have those science labs currently at Houston Middle School. And when we talk about the gym, why do we need to add a gym onto this facility? It is a state law that all students have to have 90 minutes of physical activity per week. And that's in 2 45-minute sections. So all students have to have at least 2 days of PE a week. When you look at the numbers that we have at the school right now, like I said, we have multiple sections in the gym at the same time. And if you look at on Friday, 5th period, it's really sad. 160 students are in there at the same time with gym. Now they have multiple teachers, but that means at any one time, and if you think about back to your gym classes, there may be 20 students who are participating at a time. That means the other students are sitting and watching them participate. And that's not the intent for the state law or the state school board, for our students to be sitting watching other students participate in PE. We need gym space for them to get the real benefit of their education. So other clarifications that we'd like to make about the site, and I think there's some misinformation out there. One is we are adding additional office space and a secure entrance. It is not becoming the front office. It is not becoming the main entrance at the school. We are actually adding 3 small offices there on the side. This is going to be an additional secure entrance too in that space. This is where people are checking in or out students or are coming for meetings. The students are still going to come in the main entrances that we have there. Know that this is our last school that does not have a secure entrance. This is a partnership, another partnership with the city, where we have really worked to provide those secure entrances. And what does that mean? When people are coming in and checking in or out, or vendors are coming or strangers are coming to our school, they have to be checked in a secure entrance. They have to be buzzed in, then they have to be buzzed in through a second door. So immediately they won't have access to students. And this is a real concern for our safety and security at our school. We're also going to address traffic patterns, and those are going to remain the same. And we're going to talk about the 98 additional parking spaces that we're going to add onto this campus. So one, who visits Houston Middle School? It's parents coming for meetings or they're coming to check in or out their students. Know that we did an audit to see how many people are checking in or out. And we are averaging about 27 check-ins and check-outs a day there. That's a really small number of students when you're talking about a school of over 900 students. Know that if you go by Houston Middle School and look at any one time in the front parking lot, there may be 2 cars, 3 cars. this will not have an impact on the traffic. And these are the people who are coming in and out of that side door. This won't be the main entrance. That's why we do not predict that this is going to have an impact on the traffic flow in the neighborhood, because those are the individuals that are coming. And it's after the main hours where we see those 20 minutes, 30 minutes of traffic congestion at arrival and at dismissal. And it is part of our required procedures. And this is a page from the GMSD student handbook. If you're coming in to be checked in or check out, if you're late or tardy, parents have to come in and check them in or out. So let's talk about traffic flow on this facility. One of the reasons that this building is placed where it is, because it's one of the only spots that it could fit onto the campus, is the traffic flow. We worked with, when I was the principal at Houston Middle School, with the city engineer to really develop the traffic flow in or out of the school. And the reason we have that traffic pattern that snakes around the school is we are trying to get the most cars off of Wolf River Boulevard, off Johnson Road. We're trying to get them onto our campus so that they're not impacting the traffic or limiting it as much as possible. That's why the traffic is going to stay the same, the traffic pattern. Parents are going to come in the same entrance on Wolf River, and that's also the entrance with a light. So that's why we would leave it here also. And they're going to come in one of those 4 starred entrances. That's how they entered the school. That's how they exit when the car riders are getting back in their cars. Know that this back lot, we currently have 2 drives, and we're going to maintain 2 drives on that Johnson Road. So we're not adding additional drives. This is going to be for the bus loop. That's where the buses are going to come in and out and drop off in the mornings. And so know that those students are going to come in that secure entrance, and they currently go in the back there of the school. So there's no real change to the bus traffic. Know that there are a small number of special education parents who will also use this back drive off of Johnson Road. And they're currently using that right now. We have added 98 additional parking spaces. The main goal for these parking spaces is not for teachers and staff during the school day. It is our assumption and our plan that they're going to still continue to park where they currently park, because the front office is currently staying the front office. And these are the closest parking spaces to that front office. So they'll come in that back corner of the building so that hopefully you can see where we'll highlight that. So they're going to come in that back corner entrance by that parking lot so they can come into the front office. But you can see the 98 spaces that we've added. Those 98 spaces are really to help the community. When we have open house nights, when we have parent conferences, we know that it stresses the neighborhoods because parents are parking in the neighborhood so they can come in the building. We can't accommodate all those individuals on the campus. So this is to relieve that. And also individuals that are coming for events in the evenings would be using those spaces, but it is a very limited number. So let's talk about what we plan for and the capacity that we're going to add in this building. By adding the 6 additional instructional spaces and adding the 2 different gym spaces, because the gym can be divided in half with a curtain, we can add an additional 180 students to the building, because the classrooms that they are vacating in the current building can be used for additional growth. And we can also regain those special areas. Art rooms will be in art rooms. We will have science labs where our science classes can go and really take advantage of the standards and the labs that they're supposed to be participating in. So let's look at some of those really special spaces. We really worked with the administration and the teachers at the school to help design these spaces. So here's a rendering of the gym that we would have there. Know that there is a curtain that divides it halfway down the middle. When we were teaching, we would call that hamburger style, where we would cut it in half. Know that that allows 2 gym classes to be in there at the same time, but also this allows for extra practice space in the afternoons and evenings. We currently have TMSAA sponsored volleyball for girls. We have girls basketball, we have boys basketball, we have cheer, we have pom. We want to expand the theater program at Houston Middle School. And we really have right now 1 practice place for them. They've been using the cafeteria for practice spaces, but this would really be appropriate for students and teams that are practicing. So know that we're excited about what this could do for our school teams, but also we know that the Germantown Basketball League does not have gyms. The city of Germantown does not have gyms for their recreational programs. This can be used for those spaces. So the Germantown Basketball League, who currently use our gyms when they can fit themselves in the schedule, will have access to this gym also. So it's going to be a community asset. Here's a rendering of what the science lab, the art room would look like. Know that we currently have one really designed art room in the main building. Like I said, we have 3 art teachers at Houston Middle School, and they're using spaces that weren't designed for art instruction. This is going to be very similar to the brand that we've created at Riverdale, at Forest Hill. And we've talked about what an asset this can be for the community, whether Parks and Recs wants to have adult art classes, they could do that. We have kiln rooms associated, so they could do pottery, they could do painting. It's going to be a really special space for our students and also for the community. Here's a rendering of the STEM lab. Know that when we look at, like I said, we have those STEM spaces in the building. We are looking at 3 STEM rooms in the building where the furniture moves. They can do robotics, they can do coding, they can build bridges to test their weight and structure and design. Know that these are also special spaces that we're excited about really serving our students' needs. We really worked with a band instructor to design a special band space for the students. They have been crammed in a small band room that really doesn't fit their needs. They don't have the storage that they need. This space does. It also has the high volume ceilings. One of the problems that we currently have, the band room that they have there has a very low ceiling. So when they're dealing with sound, it is horribly loud in our current band room. This has the 20-foot ceilings that are required and really necessary for band instruction, but also too, it provides for our groups. We have a very strong color guard program, and they have to practice outside or they have to fit in the hallways wherever they can. But in this space, all the furniture is movable. They can throw their flags, they can throw their rifles in this space and really get a practice space for them also. So it's another extracurricular group that's going to benefit. But I know that the band director, the students, the parents are really excited about this space because it does have practice rooms. It's got storage. It's got an area where they can load when they're ready to go to their concerts. We're really excited about the band space. So now we've come to the period of time where I'm ready to answer your questions and really talk about those concerns that you have. If you haven't been loading it, like I said, if you go to the chat, and you can see that at the bottom of your screen, and click on that. And then if you select Joshua Cathy, he has been monitoring these, and we will start going through these questions quickly. Hopefully we've answered some of them during the meeting. But let's look at some of these questions and start talking about them. So when we look at the notice for this meeting, I apologize that we did this. We did say that tentatively we were scheduled for the first 2 weeks. This is the first of many that we're going to have. Like I said, we're going to record this meeting. We're going to post the recording online. We're going to continue to answer questions. But this is not new information that we have shared. We have shared this at the board meetings. We have shared this with the BMA. When we look at the renderings, when we talk about the needs, we've really been talking about this for 4 years. We are also glad to have additional meetings if groups want to do that. The next question that I had was, how have your efforts gone in reducing violators off the school drop-off and pick-off policy? I think we have just started. I personally really got involved with this with my student services team the last 3 weeks of school, which I don't think was an appropriate time. So know that is really going to be our focus. So I asked the Germantown Police Department to meet me out there. The head of the SROs met us out there, and it's going to be an ongoing process. So I would not say that we have really had an impact at all because today was our first day. So this is going to be something where also after we have reminded parents, community members about what's the appropriate drop off and pick up in the neighborhood, we are then going to have to talk to individual students. So I'm going to be out there. The assistant principals are going to be out there. When we see students coming out, we're going to get their names. We're going to talk to their parents, call them, and get them to really drop off their children the safe way. But we're really looking at a safe way for people to enter and exit campus. But we're going to work with the police department to do that and the Houston Middle School administration. The third question that we had was, have they evaluated the safety risks of adding the North Drive next to the clubhouse and homes, as well as how this will negatively impact the traffic flow? Yes, and in addition to my staff, I personally went out there and looked at the traffic flow. Like I said, we are not changing the parents' entrance and exit onto the campus. They are still coming in the main drive where there is a light. The buses and the handful of parents that are dropping off their students with special needs will use that. It really is not moving the current drive down far from where it currently is. The fourth question that we received was, why would the south drive in front of the school, which is close to the existing intersection, not be sufficient without the north drive? The answer to this question, and like I said, we're going to post the responses to these and these questions too. The north drive is necessary in order to provide the access necessary, required for multiple vehicles to come to our school. So that's fire trucks, ambulances, garbage dump trucks, deliveries. They're still getting access through there. So we do have to have both of those drives for access to our school, especially when we're talking about bringing buses on and off campus, and how can their turn radius and how can they get on and off. That's why they currently have 2 drives on Johnson that enter and exit on Johnson, and we'll continue to have 2 drives on Johnson that enter and exit. Additional questions? I'm going to keep scrolling. Is the plan to use the new gymnasium for tournaments and games by other non-HMS teams, which would result in more traffic at night and weekends? The answer to that question real simply is no. The primary purpose of the gym is to provide better PE opportunities for our students. Like I showed you in the presentation, it is really a during the day issue that we have there. So no, the plan is not to add additional events besides what we currently have, the teams that we have participating there. The 6th question was, what is the plan for the parking lot lights and school lighting? Will they be on all night? If so, how will they reduce this impact on the neighborhood? One of the things that I would say again to encourage our community people to do is come see Forest Hill Elementary School, go see the Riverdale expansion. With the LED lights that we have and the way they can really cast light, we really control the light issue or bleed onto neighbors or neighborhood. The parking lot lights will be on all night because of safety issues, but we follow code when it comes to brightness. That's one of the things they look at in the different commissions. They have light shields that limit that spread, like I said, at Riverdale and Forest Hill. So please, neighbors, go look at those schools and see what it looks like. I would say too that the landscaping that we're going to add, the lighting that we're going to add is going to be exceptional. It's really going to improve what this looks like for the school. So number 7th question, what is the plan for a buffer between the homes and the school? If the north drive is provided, how will they provide a buffer between the school parking lot and the homes nearby at that point? We have done landscaping buffers with our neighbors on all of our projects. We plan to do so on this one as well. Know that we do design this so it doesn't have an impact on our neighbors. Like I said, the drive is not moving much further down from where it currently is. We currently do have 2 drives. Number 8, please advise your dates available of a meeting of 10 people or less. Residents directly across the school could not attend on short notice. So I will work. We did want to give the neighborhood the opportunity to see this, to watch it, to submit questions. I'm glad to meet with them and do an additional virtual meeting if we do have that, if they do want to meet. So they can reach out to Mr. Kathy by email so that we can look at scheduling those. But I will be in touch if we didn't answer everybody's questions. But I'm really optimistic that this process and the presentation will answer a lot of the neighbors' concerns. And like I said, it's going to be recorded. We're going to put out an FAQ so that you can get those answered. Is the expansion project fully funded in the City of Germantown budget that ends June 30th, 2021? The funding will not be needed until the next fiscal year. Know that this will straddle 2 fiscal years. Currently, it's our understanding that the city has $2.5 million allocated, and they said that they are working with us to really reinstall the $5 million that we had discussed to fund this project. The district is funding the remainder of this project when we go out to bid. So the answer to that question is yes, we are going to have the funding for this building when the time comes, and we're optimistic about the cooperation with our city partners. So number 10, you stated that this new addition is not for more capacity, but then state it gives capacity. It is for additional capacity. It is going to provide 180 students. What I mean by that is we are out of capacity right now. We are trying to plan for more students at the school. The second part of this question is the real plan to add more children at the school, which will add more traffic issues on Johnson Road. The answer to that question is no. We are out of capacity right now with our students. When we opened as a district, we had over 300 non-resident transfers to the school, and we've reduced that down to 30 now. So it is a very low number of non-residents. That is not our plan. Since your demographic study does not indicate a significant increase in students in the future, is it the intent to move children from other schools to HMS? The answer to that question is also no. We are over capacity, like you saw in the demographic study. We are ranging from 927 to 980 students. We also are concerned about the growth of the city and the new developments that are going to produce more students. And we are out of space now. We need to serve our students with additional space. So it is to serve the Houston Middle School students who are currently zoned. We have no plans of rezoning or increasing our non-resident transfers at this time. Number 11. What is the plan for a buffer between the homes and school if the North Drive is provided? I think that's a repeat of the question that we had already answered. Once again, we'll look at landscaping buffers. We'll look at the design there to limit impact. Number 12, how will these new parking spaces eliminate the pickup traffic on Johnson Road in the afternoon? Currently, there's a significant issue with cars parking in front of homes using the clubhouse, making U-turns on Johnson Road. For number 12, the answer to that is this is not designed for that. Our goal in working with the Germantown Police Department is to get our parents to come through our current drop-off and pickup procedure. That's not related necessarily to the design of this new addition that we have there. Number 13, there seems to be an emphasis on the growing number of students. What percentage of students are out of district? We only have 30 students out of that 940 students at Houston Middle School. And those non-residents are city employees. They are staff members. There is a small number of students who rolled up from our elementary schools. So it is a very low number of non-residents, really to serve our teachers and city employees. And that, like I said, there's no plan to increase those numbers of non-residents. Number 14, will there be any renovations to the current building? Yes, one of the things the fire department has identified is that based on where the building is located, we will have to add a new sprinkler system to the current building, which will require new ceiling, tile, and grid, new LED lights, HVAC units. We will have to also look at the current band room and potentially moving orchestra into that space, or we could divide their current band room into 2 classrooms. All those things can be done based on the growth of student population. Number 15, when construction does begin and when it is likely to complete, how many months will construction last? Will there be requirements to keep construction mess off the street and leave the area looking nice? We are optimistic that we are going to start the construction this summer. If it's comparable to what we've seen, now know that there are always rain delays. We're probably looking at a 12-month to 15-month process. We're really hoping that it can be 12-month. And yes, that is part of the requirements of the city, that they have mud guards, that they have to keep the mess off the street. And that's one of the things that code enforcement does monitor in our construction projects. Number 16. The cost of this project and how it will be funded, impact on property taxes for Grove Park residents. So this is going to be funded by the city of Germantown, Germantown Municipal School District. We do get capital improvement dollars from the county commission. There will be no impact on property taxes. There is no intent for them to raise that. We will be paying for that out of our reserve, our savings, and also our partnership with the city on going to bond and paying for it out of their debt capacity. Number 17, what is the signage plan for traffic and lane striping plan for the traffic flow? All standard signage and striping will be done. Germantown has a very specific code about what we have to do for signage and striping. They do control all of that process. Number 18, what will prevent the school district from changing the policies you laid out in the future? We can't guarantee what future school boards or administrations are going to do. This is our plan. I can tell you this is how we've designed this building and what our purpose is for this building. But as you know, school boards and city aldermen and elected officials do have the authority that they can change plans, they can change policies, they can do those things. I think it's important for us to stay engaged with our partners, our neighbors, our stakeholders, and make sure that if they were going to change our plans and really intent for these buildings or facilities, that we would communicate that with the community. I just got an additional question in, number 19. If all the new subdivisions, including the Germantown Country Club, are developed, will the additional HMS building be able to handle this capacity? That's a very difficult question. Possibly not. This will meet our most immediate future needs. If we see numbers produced from the number of houses that we have seen currently in our houses, we've seen a 0.39% rate of student production from the number of households in the city of Germantown, but I don't think that's an adequate number. I'm proud to say that I believe people move to Germantown, not just for the safety and security, but for our schools. When you look at our property values compared to our neighbors, and we're proud of what our schools have done, we really think that people move here for our schools. So the number of units that you see listed there could produce a much larger number of students than this capacity could hold. At that time, we would have to work with our city administration. We would have to look at building onto Riverdale. We may have to add additional spaces at that time. But we are planning what we think our demographer has said would come, and also based on what we have seen in the past. That's our objective. So it could produce a range of anywhere from 91 to 233 students if we got one for every household. It's really dependent on why people are moving there. We got an additional question in. Number 20. Currently, pickup traffic parks north of the Grove Hollow intersection, since that's where the buses come out. If they use the north exit, this will be in that area that all the pickup cars park, as well as the people park in front of their homes. It will create a significant traffic safety challenge coming out of the residential area. One of the things I'd like to reinforce, we will work with our staff, Houston Middle School Administration, the Germantown Police Department, the Germantown Fire Department, our traffic engineers, City of Germantown, just like we do at all of our schools, to make sure that we limit the impact of traffic on the neighborhood and encourage people to come through our pickup and drop off lines. If there is a safety issue, then we will fix that. If people are not following the traffic laws, the police department will ticket them. If they're blocking fire lanes, the fire department has the ability to ticket, and so does the police department. So know that we are going to work with our city partners to limit that impact. I'm looking for additional questions to see if there are any additional. So I'll do some last calls. I think we've got a couple coming in. The next question I have is, have we approached the city about acquiring the 3G schools, or is that a dead issue? The answer is we are always open to try to get those schools back. And the mayor, myself, different board members in the past have gone and spoken with the administration in Shelby County Schools, and they do not have the intent of selling those properties or providing them back to us. But that doesn't mean that we won't stop trying. We will continue to do that. So I would not say it's a dead issue, but at this time, we have not had success. And the Shelby County School Board does not have an appetite to return those schools to us, but we would always welcome them. Number 22. Have we conducted noise studies for the bus traffic as it exits today, and what would it be with the new pattern? I can hear the bus traffic now that is several hundred yards away. I cannot imagine if it's 50 yards or less. The answer is no, but that is definitely something that we can consider with our traffic. Like I said, we aren't changing the bus traffic pattern dramatically. We are moving that drive further down, but there is not a bigger change. The next question, have we explored relocating the school? No, not at this time, based on our zoning. There are not a lot of properties. When we looked at the Forest Hill property that would meet this need, I don't think there are a lot of options available for us or for our community. We went through every parcel that was not developed when we really chose the Forest Hill property, and it was an extensive process. So I would say no, that not that that is, I wouldn't say that's a dead issue, but that is something that I do not think is a real possibility of relocating the school. How many notices have been sent since December 1st to the HMS parents about proper drop-off pickup procedures? I do not know the answer to that question. I know of at least one. I know that, like I said, we just started this the last 3 weeks of school. So I know that we had 4 days that last week. I know of in person. I know that I'm not sure if there was one that week, but I think two. But I'll find that out. And like I said, more importantly, this is something that we are looking to adjust in the future. And so with 3 weeks left to go in the semester, probably wasn't the best time to look at changing some of those bad behaviors that the parents have started exhibiting, but we're going to work with them on that. Next question. You've said that no additional events were planned for the gym, but you mentioned the Germantown Basketball League. Are there more events planned for the soccer field? This impacts parking and traffic. The answer to that question is no. We don't have additional events more than what is currently there. Both the Germantown Basketball League and high school team both currently practice at the facility and on those fields. So we're not looking at a change or an increase in the traffic pattern because of those programs. Additional questions? I'll give a moment before we move on from additional questions. Once again, I know it's hard to hear me read the questions. We'll make sure that we post all of these questions with answers so that we can, so that people who weren't here or who are watching it can see it. We had a question that says, I hope you plan to renovate the current bathrooms. They are gross. I would agree. And yes, we have plans. This is in our master's facility plan. We have been renovating the bathrooms at all of our schools. So that is something that we want to definitely improve in our schools. Additional questions? I think we have one more coming in. Thank you for bearing with me. Mr. Kathy, have you got one? Will you address the large number of children that are picked up off campus within the neighborhood? I think we've discussed this one already. Yes, that is something that we will work with and the school will work with. We do have some challenges in the fact that people can park on the street if they're doing it legally, as long as they're not pulling through the clubhouse or as long as they're not doing U-turns. That's something that the police department has to work with us on to monitoring. But we do encourage and want parents to use our drop-off and pick-up procedure because that is the safest path. But if the students are using crosswalks, if the parents are parked following all laws and procedures, that is one of the challenges that we have. The next question, will clubhouse overflow be able to park on school property? And the answer to that question is yes. We always want to be a good neighbor. and a good partner. So anytime, and we have done this all the time with family members. We often have residents who live near the school and they're having their driveways redone, or they're having family members come into town and they need to park. If they call and ask the school, sometimes we will let our neighbors park as long as it's not a large number of cars on our property. But that is something that we think we can be a good neighbor with. Mr. Cathy, do you have any additional questions? Another question was that, will there be traffic guards in front of the homes every morning and afternoon? One of the things, and bus traffic coming straight at their houses. One of the things that we have really addressed with the Germantown Police Department and the traffic guards, we are not crossing students across Johnson Road. If they are going to cross Johnson Road, they need to be crossing at the crosswalk there at Wolf River, where there's a light and there's someone there. The function of the traffic guard is to allow the buses to exit the school facility, not to cross students at that place. So no, we will not be crossing students there at that spot. We're going to be stopping students who do continue to walk down that side. We have placed school staff out there on that side of the campus to stop students from walking that way and direct them to the crosswalk. So no, the answer is we are not planning on crossing people there and having them loading and unloading in front of those houses there. Our hope is that the parents use our drive, and that's what we're going to continue to encourage through communication and our efforts with the Germantown Police Department. Next question is, are you aiming to be finished by the start of the 2022-2023 school year? And the answer is yes, that is our goal and objective. A moment longer for additional questions. Mr. Cathy? Like I said, we will thank you for coming tonight. I know it's been a lot of information. This is just step one. We are going to go, we still have to proceed through 2 commissions where community members can provide input. They can send emails to Mr. Cathy, our deputy superintendent. I'm willing to also work with individuals who want to meet with me or neighborhoods if they feel like we need additional meetings to answer these questions. I hope that we have answered the majority of these questions. I wish we could be in person. This is one of those bad effects of COVID that traditionally we've had these meetings with communities. I can't wait till the day when we can be together again safely. I can't wait till the day till the vaccinations are here, where our teachers, our families, all of us can be in a much safer world. Thank you all for joining us tonight. We are excited about what this is going to do for our students, our teachers, our community. We do think that this is the best plan for our growth in the future and serving our students, our Germantown students. But thank you again. If you have questions, please, you can call our central office, the number listed here, 752-7900. You can email Joshua Cathy, our deputy superintendent. Again, you will be able to find the recording of this meeting on our website, where we will also post the typed out questions that were submitted tonight with answers that we provided. I'm very thankful. I do have one correction. I don't believe it is Joshua Cathy. It is josh.cathy@gmsdk12.org. It is josh.cathy, not Joshua. Thank you, everyone, for attending tonight. Please reach out to us with additional questions if you feel like we didn't answer your questions.